100%. All right. Mic down. Well, a very good evening to everybody out there in TV land. Greetings from planet Earth. I am Eddie, and I am with
Uberscosplay.
Uberscosplay, aka Ben, and we are here at Flynn's Arcade, located in Margate, Florida. We do have power today, which is great. Yesterday we did lose it. FPL is always a fun person, a fun entity to deal with. But nonetheless, the show must go on. So thank you so much for tuning in. Sorry we were a few minutes behind because, you know, every week we're trying to get better and better and faster. And sometimes we have issues with webcams and just technical difficulties. So a big shout out to the Silverback Senpai. If you're not following him on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere, be sure to check him out. He definitely is a lifesaver. Hey, Sean, what's up, everybody? Terry, greetings and salutations. Ender, and on YouTube, thank you for being second, Silverback Senpai. And guys, if you have questions as we go through the next hour of Gundam goodness, by all means, chime in. We'll try to touch base on each and every one of them we possibly can so that we can, just kind of like let your questions go out there. So before we get into the meat and potatoes of our discussion this evening, I'll let Uber take the floor so that he can kind of say where you can find him if you want to find him.
Right. My name's Uberscosplay. I do mostly costumes, props, that kind of thing. But I also do giant robot model kits. If you guys would like to follow me, I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook as Uberscosplay, UBERS Cosplay. And You can also meet me here at Flynn's every Thursday night, usually when we're doing build and paint night. So bring out your model kits, bring out whatever you're working on, and we'll help you out, talk shop, and just generally have a good time.
100%. And actually, every week is getting bigger and bigger.
Yes, last week was especially.
I think
it was the best turnout you've had.
Yeah, in a while. You know, let's say post-COVID.
Yeah, every seat was filled.
Every seat was filled. And, you know, the cool thing is that people of different skill levels came out. Some people that hadn't really built in a while. We had men and women, and we're just missing some kids. That's really what
I had a really young guy talking to me. He was like 17 or 16.
Oh, really?
He'd only built like a model ship, and he was just like, "Oh, I didn't know you guys did this. I want to come in next week."
Oh, okay,
and he had
cool.
Like an Osprey kit he wanted to build. So,
well, see, Gundam is for everybody, regardless of anything. You know, that you could possibly imagine. Gundam is for everybody.
Right.
So, guys, we always like to start off, or I like to start off with just some things that were going down at Flynn. So we just had our family fun day this last Saturday. It was a huge success, guys. With I want to say thank you for everyone who came out. Now, we have our cosplay event, aka as Bob and Roxy call it, our Flynn's Cosplay Fan Fest Episode 2. Is on the 19th of this month, which is a Saturday, starts at 5, and that event is cosplay-centric. You can come dressed in cosplay if you want to, but it's just a really great time. We have a bunch of people. Osumbi, the rice cake.
Yeah, the rice ball.
The rice ball people, the rice cake people are coming out. The Ganji, the
Gaijin Taiyaki.
Yeah, they're coming out.
All the good snacks.
They're coming out on Saturday as well. And then we have some really cool giveaways I'm working on right now to kind of like create that and orchestrate it. So that's on the 19th at 5 p.m. It starts here at Flynn's. And yeah, we open tomorrow at 5 o'clock for our $10 Tuesdays also. And just because I am a little still hungry, I wanted to let you guys know that we also, it's kind of weird, but we had Silverback Senpai say, you know what you guys should do is you guys should sell cereal. So I found these individually sealed, wrapped cereals that everybody can enjoy. So it's so we have them here at Flynn's, different flavors like Cheerios and Fruit Loops and Lucky Charms, and there's one more Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So we have all these, and we actually have also real milk in single serve containers, organic whole milk, and also organic soy milk. And of course, you need a spoon. So we have that too here at Flynn. So you'll hear me munching on that throughout
calories in, so you can burn them off on DDR.
Yeah, exactly. So you can burn it off on exactly. You could have your meal and get your workout at the same exact place.
Right.
So I'll be munching on that throughout the stream today. So we are going to start off with what, Ben? Well, a recap from last week. What did we discuss last week?
We were just continuing to work on the 30-minute mission kit.
Okay, yeah.
And we were also talking about different animes and stuff like that you might want to get into. and as well as weathering and tools for weathering. Like we went over the hobby chisels, some of the pastels and things like that. And I was showing some examples of previous work I'd done on those to detail up your kit.
Awesome. That's and we kept getting the question a lot, like, what's a good kit to start with? And we're that's going to be a question we're going to try to touch on every time because we know we have new viewers and people that are thinking about getting into anything. But have there been any shows that you've really enjoyed this week that you want to kind of make mention of? Have you watched anything? I know you had a busy week. Have you watched anything?
Anime?
Yeah, anime or Gundam or anything like that?
I've been watching anime, but not a lot of Gundam.
Okay, well, anime. What are you watching?
I've been watching Uzaki-chan right now.
Uzaki-chan. What is that about?
It's really just about like two kids in high school. And
Okay.
like this one girl is always bothering the guy, and she always wants to hang out.
Right.
And she's basically just a big pain in the butt, wasting his time.
So you've been getting enjoyment out of that.
I like the slice of life sometimes too.
All right.
So I've been watching that. Other anime. I really need to start watching Build Fighters Re-Rise.
Okay.
That was the one you guys had on here briefly.
Yes.
During the last build night, and I caught like a few snippets of the last episode. I'm like, this show looks insane. I need to catch up and see because I know I only saw like the last 5 minutes and it didn't make any sense. But I'm like, the visuals look nuts. I need to stop and watch this and just see what the heck's going on.
All right.
So Re-Rise, I definitely got to catch back up on. It took me a long time to catch up on Iron-Blooded Orphans, which was the last big Gundam entry.
Right.
So now that that's under my belt, I have no excuse not to catch up on the Build Divers series.
Okay. All right.
That'll be the next thing.
You got that next thing going down. Well,
Right.
I have to say that this week I kind of took the suggestion of a couple people and yourself included. Like I decided, you know what, I'm going to try to find. I don't know if you call it an anime or what you would call it, but the Evangelion. Evangelion.
You started watching Evangelion.
I started watching Evangelion. I'm on
Jumping right into
episode.
the deep end.
I'm on episode I think 6 or 5 or something like that.
You're in for a ride.
So I'm making my way through it. I have to say that is it Evangelion? How do you pronounce it?
Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Evangelion. Okay. So Eva, basically for brief, right?
If you just say Eva, people know what you're
Eva.
talking
Okay. So Eva, like I have to admit that at first I was like, this is kind of cool, and I'm like, I thought this was supposed to be robots or angels and stuff, and they just throw you into the deep end.
No,
it's like this psychological dive into the human psyche, you know.
The director Hideki Anno is notorious for the kind of mindfuckery that he became famous for in Evangelion.
Right.
But he had been doing anime for a long time before then. Like he had done a anime called Gunbuster.
Okay.
Gunbuster is much more like a traditional giant robot show.
Okay.
But it's got some of his craziness in it. Evangelion is the first time he was really let off his leash. And so lots of really strange stuff happening in it. Lots of the characters are the best part about the show. The characters are really deep. They're really interesting.
Yes, very
and
deep.
they're not perfect people. It's like if you talk about like a cast of flawed characters, everybody in that show has like tons and tons of baggage. And you know, a lot of people will just watch and be like, "Oh, cool robot," but really, it's like the characters are what like the real meat of that story is.
No, I agree. Was it the young boy Shinji?
Shinji, yeah.
Shinji
Ikari
was definitely like you said, very flawed in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm. Textbook example of the unwilling hero.
Yeah, exactly. Like he was just kind of forced to do it because his father, you know, and
14, 15-year-old kid, and it's like, oh, now you have to save the world, and it's like it's like I'm still in high school. I can't handle this. And you always like to think that if it was you in that situation, oh, you'd be some badass. But it's like, man, you're 15, you didn't know anything, and then you have all these monsters and stuff shooting at you. Yeah, it'd be pretty terrifying.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stress because there's only 2 pilots and I forget the female's name.
Ray and Asuka,
yeah,
are the 2 main pilots.
So like, you know, you have all these. I don't know. I've just been getting into it. I have to say that some episodes I'm sitting there like, I don't understand. But you know what? I have an appreciation for the art.
Yes.
The style, like sometimes I'm watching this episode and I'm thinking like, man, this episode is 23 minutes long. This dude put all this effort into every, like there's one scene when Shinji is literally sitting there.
Right.
And it's like a minute scene and nothing's really happening other than just him sitting there. And like you see some wind or you hear some wind, you see some leaves. I'm like, this guy.
And if you mentioned that you were into older kaiju shows,
yes,
like,
yes,
Ultraman, that kind of thing.
Yeah, of course.
A big inspiration of Anno's is shows like Ultraman, so you see a lot of that come through.
Oh, true.
And when you talk about like long stretches of like that, where it's just basic, it's strange to say cinematography when you're talking about anime, but that's what it is.
That's what it is.
He's got an eye for cinematography, and there's like you say, the visuals in Evangelion are, great.
When was that put out? When was that
The
show put out?
original Evangelion, I think it was either 96 or 98. It's
What?
not. It's
Really?
not. It's not a recent show. No. And if you're going to talk about like a show that's influential, Gundam started and it spawned like a slew of copycats essentially, and it's still getting copied today. Even more so, Evangelion came out, and there are tons and tons of shows that tried to ape that formula of like a very cerebral plot with the robots thrown in, or just a plot that's not even about like, oh, here's the end goal and it's our journey to the end goal. The story was about just the characters dealing with the day-to-day struggles in that kind of an environment. There's so many shows that are basically just called Evangelion clones because of how influential that show was.
The one thing I was going to ask you off that show was the 00, the Unit Zero.
Yeah.
Do they make a model of that?
Yeah, the one we showed last week, the real grade Evangelion, the Unit 1.
The EVA.
One just came out of the Unit 0.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is Ray's unit. And it's in the orange scheme.
Yeah.
But I believe in some versions of the movie or the show, it also shows up in blue. But it's the same robot. Just a color variation.
Because I was watching that, as I was watching the show, I was like, I really, really, really like the Unit 0.
It's got like a much more like slapdash kind of look.
Yeah,
because
it's
that's
like
the idea.
beefy.
It was like the idea. That was the very, very first prototype they put together.
Right.
Yeah.
It was really cool. I mean, anyway, so that's what I've been getting into. So like every night I'm watching an episode or two and trying to understand it, and so I can talk to you guys about it, because I don't know a lot about that world. But
Right.
I have to admit, I'm it's really interesting, and it's so weird because in a serious show, they still try to be quirky.
Yeah, and it has its moments. Like there's the trope with anime that there has to be a beach episode where everyone just says, "Oh, forget the war. We're going to go to the beach and have fun for a
Or
day."
that penguin thing.
Or the penguin. There's another
Pen?
anime. The other anime trope is there's always some kind of cute mascot character. Gundam's not immune to this either. That's what Haro is.
Yeah.
But in Evangelion, it's Pen, which is Masato's pet
Pen.
emperor penguin. I don't know how you get a pet emperor penguin, but she does.
Yeah, exactly. And it lives in the refrigerator or something like that.
Right.
I don't know. It's been interesting. Anyway, so that's what I've been kind of like going through a little bit, and that's why I'm so glad to hear it. So they do have a Unit 0 model out now.
Yeah,
is it real grade or master grade?
It's a
or
real
was
grade.
Oh,
It's the
real grade?
Unit 0, and I believe that one also comes with the shield. Like, so the weapons are a little bit different. And
like in the shield in the episode with like the beam rifle. That you
yeah,
talking
where
about
he
that
has
one?
the giant beam rifle and the one's using the shield to block it for him. It comes with that, I believe.
Very cool.
And like Sean is saying here in the chat, they're also coming out with Unit 2 later this month.
Another one?
Unit 2 is the red one. You might not be far enough in the story
No,
yet.
no, I'm not.
It's the one that Asuka is going to pilot. She's the pilot from Germany.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Because I hadn't seen that one yet. I was like, what is?
Because how it goes, you have Unit 0, which is the prototype.
Right.
You have Unit 1, which is the like test model.
Yeah.
And then 2 is like production. This is like we finalized the design.
Okay, and they got like kind of taps on the syncing with the human psyche and all that kind of stuff. They like perfected it.
Well, let's just say every character's flaws is directly tied. You'll see to the robot. I don't want to spoil too much.
It's very much like Pacific Rim, where the psyche, the two minds have to meld together.
You'll get further in the show and you'll see just how much Pacific Rim outright ganked from that series. Like the whole sequence where the pilots' minds have to link.
Yeah.
There's an episode, a particularly good episode in Evangelion called Dance Like You Want to Win. And they're fighting a monster that has a duplicate, and they have to fight them in sync at the same time to defeat them. Otherwise, they'll be beat. So the pilots have to train for like a week to be moving perfectly in sync. And it's funny because at one point they're doing DDR together just to get their motions in the same sync.
And of course, they're going to throw DDR
right,
in
but
there.
the whole thing with Pacific Rim with them mind melding is pretty much a direct throwback to Evangelion.
Okay, cool. So Sean said it's the beam rifle, not shield.
Oh, it comes with the beam rifle and not the shield?
Oh, okay,
I could have
Sean.
sworn the Unit 0 came with the shield.
I thought the Zero had a shield. Well, remember they made the shield out of
the
parts.
bottom of a space shuttle.
Yeah, for that episode. But
yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
I could be mixed up. Maybe
But the beam, the beam rifle was. They both have beam rifles.
Well, the Unit 1 had the beam rifle in the episode,
right?
But Unit 0 was the one using the shield to block.
Ah, okay,
they might have put one in the other, so you have to buy them both. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they would do that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, we'll make it a
because I know the
parts
real
kit.
grade one that we had as well. They also have like a deluxe version that comes with like the launching cradle.
Right.
And I think that might also come with like the pallet rifle
Okay.
or maybe some other stuff like
All
that
right,
as well.
cool. Well, hey, I don't want to forget to tell everybody, be sure to stay tuned to the end because we have some questions we want to ask you and some little announcements here and there, so be sure to stay tuned till the end. But I'll let Ben segue into, I think we're going to hit on a couple models here. Because we always get asked, guys, what's a great model to start with, something a little more advanced, so we figured Ben would take a crack at it. So what do you got for us?
And this is one you guys had in stock. I thought this would be great for starters. This is the Magwanac. This is one of the grunt mobile suits from Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. If any of you guys watched Gundam Wing back in the day on Cartoon Network on Toonami, this will be immediately recognizable. When it comes to like the grunt suits, this is one of the more like ignored ones. Like it never got a lot of attention back in the day, but over the years it's gotten more popular.
I have built it.
Right, and it's a very simple build.
Super simple.
Very simple build, but very customizable. It comes with a lot of options for stickers, so you can have the units be different numbers.
Yeah.
In the context of the show, this is actually one unit of a personal army of one of the Gundam pilots.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like you know.
Is that why there's many of them?
That's why there's a lot of them, because it's actually this guy, the Sandrock, piloted by Catra.
Oh, we had the Sandrock.
You do, and it's over there as well. But this is just one of his soldiers, essentially. In the show, Catra is the heir to a very wealthy family. They actually like built the space colonies,
Right.
and so because he's such an important person, he doesn't go anywhere without his honor guard, and it's these 40 soldiers that are basically honor bound to defend his life.
40
soldiers.
40 people.
Only like 3 of them are named. There's Abdul, Rashid, and Hakim are the only 3 that I think are named.
Okay.
Everyone else is just kind of nameless. And obviously, you might tell by the names and the look. Catra is like descended from a Middle Eastern family, and all these soldiers are from the Middle East as well.
Okay.
So they've all kind of got like the Sherpa look about them.
Yes. Yeah.
But they follow him out into space and everything and help him out even after the mobile suits are all destroyed at the end. But they're very cool suits. I like them, like I said, because they're highly customizable. And for a grunt, it's, like I say, it's just like a run-of-the-mill army type suit.
You want to show them on camera too?
Right.
Let's see if we can.
But it's got a lot of personality to the design.
Ender from YouTube says it's a good guy grunt for once.
Yeah, it's a good guy grunt.
And switching over.
Right. And like he says, in Wing had a lot of really great designs for the enemies and the good guy suits. But like the grunt suits for the good guys, like the Magwanac, never really got a lot of attention up until this kit came out. So I'm really glad it came out. I've actually need to get a few myself. And if you go on like certain sites, like P Bandai actually sold a set of 40 of these in one box. I think they came in like sets of 10 or 8, and they just came multiple boxes inside, so you could build his entire 40-man honor guard.
Like we have storage for that.
Right,
right. Or display room for that. But if you do, I guess you go to town.
Right, so I think that's a very cool kit to start with. And just like the other grunt kits, very simple, not a lot of runners. Very, very simple build. Don't need anything special other than nippers, maybe a knife, maybe a little bit of sandpaper, but you don't need anything special.
Okay.
Okay.
So what do we got? The next one.
Let me bring this camera back a little bit.
There we go.
All right. And I'll bring this guy back. All right, and the next kit I grabbed that's a little more advanced is the Master Gundam and the Fun Psyche. You can see this one's a little out there too. It's a mobile suit riding a horse.
Is it a unicorn?
Yeah, it's a unicorn. But the even stranger thing, and this speaks to how strange some of the Gundam side stories are,
right.
is the horse is actually piloted by a horse.
Why?
There's a horse inside this suit piloting it in the show.
What?
Now that requires a little bit of explanation, I know.
How does it it really, they just kind of shoved a horse into it?
It's really inside the cockpit. And it's not like it's piloting the controls, but it's, the cockpits in G Gundam are called mobile trace systems.
Okay.
So you step into the cockpit and you're in a special suit.
Right.
And then the mobile suit
moves.
trace your movements.
Exactly.
Also similar to Pacific Rim. Another idea that was likely inspired Del Toro. But in this show, the concept is that it's the far future. The Earth has pretty much been abandoned, and all the various nations of Earth live in space on space colonies. But to decide every few years of who's going to be in control of the Earth, essentially, like who's going to be the king of the colonies, they send one fighter to represent their nation to Earth, and they use the Earth as a big fighting ring. And whoever is the last Gundam standing will be in charge of the Earth.
So it's like a battle royale.
It's like a battle royale, and they decided this was a better idea than having wars all the time. So
they spend the entire year, assuming, building the suit they're going to use
instead
to fight.
of putting all your money into tanks and guns and stuff, you just put it all into training your super fighter. And this guy is called Master Asia. He was the Gundam fighter for Neo Hong Kong. So this was who they chose to represent their country. And one of his things, he's a martial artist, obviously, but he also rides around on this horse called Funsaiki, which is his trusty steed. And of course, they have to get the horse's mobile suit as well. So
it's 2 for 1.
Yeah, and for lack of a better way to explain the action, it's kind of like, I know you haven't seen a lot of anime, but it's very reminiscent of like Dragon Ball Z or other fighting animes, but with a lot more serious tones, because it still is a show about war and the consequences of war.
Okay.
Like the whole thing is they're down there on Earth fighting over who's going to control the planet, and Earth is just getting destroyed, and all the people left on Earth are having to deal with the repercussions. It's like, you guys up there in space don't care about us. We just have to deal with your damn Gundams showing up, destroying our cities. But very cool show. Like you said, if you're into action anime, definitely worth watching. And this kit, not really more complicated than the Magwanac, but it's 2 kits in one, and it's a lot bigger. Like, I don't know if you can see on the side here.
You can probably see on the side if you bring it down.
It's actually compatible with other G Gundam kits. Like, you can see the God Gundam there on the side riding it as well. It comes with a lot of effect parts, and you see like he has the cloak around him.
Yeah, I see the right cloak.
You can switch out parts to where he's encased in the cloak. Obviously, he's like kind of a villainous character, so he has to have this big evil-looking cloak to hide it and everything. And here on the other side, a better idea of the kind of poses he can do riding the horse.
So now, does the horse come with its own action base? Like, does it stand?
The horse actually comes with a base, so it can be displayed on its own.
Okay.
The horse is not 100% posable. Some joints are locked, but like various parts of it can be moved, the neck, the feet, and stuff like that. But it's pretty much always in the rearing up pose.
Fascinating.
But that's a very cool kit, I think.
So we have the first one. So we have something a little more simplistic.
Yeah, a little more simplistic, and a lower price point is the Magwanac.
About $14. Or it is $14.
Yeah, it's $14, and you could build this in one night pretty easily. Yeah, and these are great, like I say, for customizability. And if you already have the Sandrock, I'm not saying get all 40, but if you get 2 of them and put one on either side, it really completes the look of the Sandrock, because their armor style is the same. Their color palettes look really good together. And if you're a fan of the show, like I said, Catcheret was always around with his honor guard around him. They were always there to back up the Gundam team.
Ender said that would make quite the diorama.
Oh, yeah.
If you had it.
Especially if you had if you had a few of the enemy grunts along with these, you could have them battling it out, and the Gundams doing their own thing as well. So that would definitely be a cool
And then we have a little more advanced, not more advanced, but I guess and more.
And then a bigger
kit.
A bigger kit, more complicated. You probably couldn't build this one in one night. Probably take you a little bit longer considering the size of the horse. And also all the effect parts it comes with is the Master Gundam with the Funsaiki. And like I said, if you already have some of the other G Gundam kits, this is great to have. Like if you see on the side, he even has like the energy fist attack.
Yes, yeah.
That actually interlocks with the energy fist attack from the Shining Gundam, so they can have them like they're locked in like a beam battle. Like I'm sure you've seen the Dragon Ball Z where they're firing at one another.
Yeah.
Same type of thing, only giant robots. Dang. But G Gundam, a very cool show. Also, too, I recommend that if you want to get into Gundam and you're not necessarily into the giant robots, but you like fighting anime, G Gundam's very, very cool show to check out, and very underrated, I think.
And then we also have, guys, if you guys are building something, by all means, drop it in the comments so we can find out what you're working on or what you're currently got in works, or if you have questions about, I don't know, a random kit or something like that, be sure to drop it in the comments. So I see you brought in a rather large kit. We'll move into main 2 for a minute here, so that they can kind of, I feel like it's QVC.
Right.
Like, oh, you could buy this. Look, it's
this is actually one I got from you guys a while back.
Yes, a while back.
This is the Master Grade Full Armor Double Zeta Gundam. Specifically, this is the FAZ. This is probably I think this is actually the biggest like standard master grade they've released. I think there's one or two that are bigger, but not by much. I think the Deep Striker's bigger. The Sazabi might be taller, but definitely for part count, this is probably the highest. A little background. This is one of those designs which I've mentioned before, which are super popular, super cool looking, never showed up in animation. The Faz is actually from a side story that ran in Hobby Japan magazine back in Japan in about, I think, 1988. And I'm sure you've seen some model kits that have the Ver-Ka on the end. That refers to the designer, which is Hajime Kotoke. Gundam Sentinel was the side story in Hobby Japan, which is really where he started getting his name out there big. That's what really cemented his status as one of the kings of Gundam design. Like I said, it was a side story that ran in a magazine, and what it was just like a little side story of what was happening in the era of like Zeta Gundam and Double Zeta Gundam. Like this is based on the main suit of the character in Double Zeta Gundam called Judo. The idea is this is basically one of the test units they made, and in the side story there's 3 of them, and it actually came with stickers to do it in either one of them.
So you didn't apply stickers to this yet?
Yeah, I haven't applied any stickers to it yet. I haven't done any kind of painting to it. I will eventually, but I'm in the middle of a move right now. But like I said, if you're going to talk about a kit that is really going to push the limits of what you can do, this is it. Ver-Ka is pretty much the creme de la creme of master grades.
Really?
Yeah, like the most effort goes into those in terms of detail and just gimmicks.
What about that big? What was it? It was red in color.
Sazabi.
And it had the things coming off the back.
Right.
Like
that
the
was
cylinders.
That was a Ver-Ka kit, and that
really
that one's slightly older than this one, but just as complicated and detailed.
Okay.
This one I think still has more parts though, because you see just the suit, but all this white armor on the outside actually can come off, and it leaves the core suit underneath. And then I don't have the parts for it here, but there's parts to basically build this as 3 different versions of the core suit. Yeah. So, because this is based on the master grade Double Zeta Gundam, but then there was an expansion kit released for that called the Enhanced Double Zeta, which is basically just a slight variation in some proportions in armor, just to make it look a little more aggressive. And then that kit was modified into this, which is the full armor Double Zeta Gundam. As you might obviously be able to tell, in the story, this suit is pretty much just designed to field that giant cannon.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all they exist for. All the other weapons on the suit, for the most part, weren't even active. They were just dummies. Like in the show, Double Zeta, they have a really powerful cannon in the head right there.
Right.
On these units in the side story, they're not active. It's just, like I said, it was pretty much quickly thrown together.
Just to support the weapon.
Just to support the giant cannon.
So is it like a range weapon? It's like some sort of a cannon or something like that?
It's just a gigantic beam cannon.
So they come out, they're the heavy guns, so they have the front support and they fire from the back?
Right, and there's also various panels on the armor that open up to
Whoa.
show missiles, so you can see those on the chest.
Man.
But the great thing about this, too, is, like I said, the detail is extreme and everything like that, but it also comes with a really great instruction manual that tells you some of the history about Gundam Sentinel, because Sentinel's probably one of the more popular of the side stories that never got animated.
Okay.
Like the art books and everything that
right.
came out for it resell for crazy amounts. And back in the 80s, kits came out from this show, and those are still popular kits today, even though they're so old, because the designs were so crazy and beautiful and outlandish. But very cool designs. And there's quite a few out from Sentinel. I think I showed you the one on the website the other day, the Deep Striker. One that's like, that's one from Sentinel. So you can kind of see the aesthetic for big weapons, complicated armor, super high detail. But if you're looking for a kit and you're into master grades that is really going to push the limit of what you've done before, I think the Faz is pretty much the top.
And we did actually have one here, but Ben didn't know that it sold over the weekend.
I brought this in to showcase a kit you could buy here, and the day before you guys sold it. So just my luck. But whoever got this is going to be a happy camper for quite a while, because
What was the build time on this clock?
Oh, this took me I think 3 days, but
I think you got this right before the whole COVID thing happened. I think
yeah,
it was in
and
March.
I didn't do much else for a few days, but just build this because it was such an addictive build. I loved it. It was such a cool process.
And the what's it called? The ability to modify paint. I mean, I could
Oh
see
yeah,
the options are endless.
I cannot wait to finally finish my move and be able to paint this. And the other cool thing I forgot to mention too is you can take off all this armor, and it will be the core double Zeta Gundam underneath it, and it's just as good as the regular master grade double Zeta because it can still transform and everything.
Really?
This isn't just a suit. This will actually transform into like a fighter fortress mode.
Yeah, it looks like that, like a jet of some sort.
Yeah, like the head folds down and the backpack comes up to the top, and even you can transform it with this giant cannon still on it, and it's just hanging there off the bottom. You know, like a fighter jet with one hell of a frontal attack.
Dang.
You would not want to get in the front of that. But I do definitely have to feel sorry for the poor pilot that sits in the back of this thing.
That's where he sits?
There's 2 pilots for this suit, and one of them sits in the back of this gun.
What?
Talk about an unfortunate place to sit.
Oh my gosh. Really?
Yeah, that's the little.
Why would you sit there? That's like totally exposed.
Totally exposed, and talk about motion sickness.
Yeah, because you're attached to an arm. It's kind of like my grandfather during World War II was a belly gunner in a B-52 bomber.
Oh, that's got to be tough on your back.
And he, he has since passed, but he told me some, crazy experiences with being strapped upside down. Not to mention you're locked
and you're
into
in there
that
for hours and hours.
And not to mention the noise. I mean, I assume that has to be like a 50 cal or something like that. Something crazy.
On like a B-52 or something like that. That's a 50 cal.
And plus, they're trying to kill you first because you're the bottom protection, so they can't like approach from the bottom.
You're the one keeping them away.
So we have a couple questions.
Sure.
So the first one we have here is Ender from YouTube says, so when the god shoots the Burger King guy out of his hand,
does
the effect come with the Gunpla?
Does not come with the king. That's actually, he's referencing in G Gundam. Like a few of the characters, they inherit powers of these special martial artists called the Shuffle Alliance. Okay. So you have a character who's the Queen of Hearts. You have a character who's like the Jack of Spades, etc.
And you have one called a Burger King?
Well, the main character, he's the King of Hearts.
Okay.
So on his hand, he'll have this crest that shows up. And long story short, he does a final attack in the show, him and the girl he loves, and the energy comes out of his hand, not just as like an energy wave, it comes out as the King of Hearts. So it's this giant king that shoots out of his hands and blasts through the enemy.
Huh, okay.
It sounds ridiculous, but it's an insanely cool visual.
All right, right on. All right, so no, it does not have that effect.
No, you'll have to make your own Burger King.
I mean, I guess you could 3D print it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Sean says he's working on the RG, the Real Great Crossbone. Silverback, thank you so much for the stars. I really appreciate it. He's working on the RG Crossbones.
That's the one you said
X1, which I have in the case. Should have the panel lines and stickers done tonight.
Nice.
Good luck with that, Sean. I commend you in starting that. That kit is a really nice kit. The little skull in the forehead kept actually popping off.
Right.
So, excuse me, I did have to super glue that to the forehead.
They got a real grade coming out soon. The real grade Zeong, which is the final suit that Char pilots in the original series.
Really?
I don't know if you've seen it, but it's this gray suit. It actually doesn't have legs, but it's much bigger than a Gundam. And he has mega particle cannons, lasers, in each one of his fingers. But when that comes out as a real grade, that might be the first one I get, because that's a really cool suit, I think.
You don't have any real grades?
I've never built a real grade. I don't own any. But when I saw the Zeong, like they only released like a teaser of the artwork for the box, and it looked so cool. I'm like, man, I might have to just bite the bullet and get that because the Zeong is awesome.
So good luck with that, Sean. The Crossbones is a great kit to build. Panel lining and stickers will go a long way. I recommend definitely getting, what do you guys call them, action base?
Yes, action base.
Definitely recommend getting action base for that, especially because it has those like beam kind of like...
Yeah, a lot of beam effect parts.
Yeah, beam effect parts.
So it's a lot better to post him in flight than trying to fiddle with the posing.
Not to mention it has that cloak. Right, and also it has the knife in the foot.
Yeah, he has the knife in the feet.
Yeah.
So in-flight poses are very cool for a suit like that. So action-based.
Lets you totally display everything that you have with the kit. We also have Timus 14. Timus. Appreciate you joining us again from Twitch. You joined us last week. Do you guys still have the 30-minute missions Alto Black?
I think so. I think we still have quite a few Altos. I don't know for certain if we have the black.
I want to say I don't think we sold any of the black ones.
All right.
I would have remembered that, but I believe we still have it. We open tomorrow at 5 o'clock. By all means, stop on by and
Yeah,
check
check
if
it
we
out.
do have it. I believe we do, but I'm not entirely sure.
And I guess Silverback probably posted the clip of
Ben is
the
talking
G Gundam
about.
scene he's talking about.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, you guys can head on over to our Instagram on.
Yeah, you ever want to like get a bit of a mind, get your mind blown by some of the stuff in anime? Just watch a few clips from G Gundam out of context, and just be like, "What the heck is going on? That guy just rode a horse through space.
So
These people are shooting hearts at one another."
So go check out Silverback Senpai's Instagram at Silverback Senpai on his Instagram, and he'll have the photos there of what Ben was talking about. We'll have to learn how to sync in photos in during the stream so that we can
Right.
reference stuff later on. I'm sure this
Or
can
video
be
clips or
super
something like
complicated. I also forgot, guys, while we're on this stream page, you'll actually see on the bottom that's all our social media channels.
Right.
Not all of them, but enough of them, and then also. Uberscosplay is there for Facebook and Instagram as well. So that's the Faz, everybody. We wanted to make sure to reference that so you guys are able to, appreciate that in all its glory. I see also you brought a little one along with you.
Right, just in the theme of big weapons, I grabbed.
I do
this
like
guy.
that railgun quite a bit.
Right, in the theme of big weapons, I brought this guy along. This is a high grade kit. This is from Build Fighters Try, which is the second series in the Build Fighters series. This is the GM cardigan. And before anyone asks, it does not come with the chain gun. I put the chain gun on there myself.
It's
part of the weapons kit.
It does not
No.
come with
It
it.
does not come with a chain gun. I bought that separately and just thought it looked good on the cardigan. The cardigan is a customized kit. The idea is in Build Fighters, it's not just people building model kits. They build their own model kit and then they put them in battle against one another.
Right, you're talking to me. And then this is the one where he creates the girl, like the girl that
Right,
he's got a
same
crush
series.
on.
And this is actually piloted by that girl. This is the one she starts the show with. So you can kind of see where it had those cannons on her suit. It shares the same part. But
But you bought a weapons.
yeah, this is a Bandai weapon kit. It's not specific to any kit. You just buy this and you have a chain gun that you can put on another kit. I just thought it looked good with the cardigan, being that it already had so many weapons. Why not?
And the
give it a
cardigan's
heavier
like
weapon?
it's low to the ground. It seems beefy, like a linebacker. Like a.
In the show, like I
Defense
said, they're
woman.
based on different model kits, and it's actually got machine guns in the forearms as well that can deploy. And all the weapons are on subarms, and they can move all around and do crazy stuff. But
So the shields can provide blood.
yeah.
Some
So like
defense.
if you wanted to have the shields get deployed, you could do that, or you could just have them being used to support him on the ground, like he's firing all the weapons at once and he needs the support.
And
So
you
you can
bought
do-
that?
No, the only thing that does not come with this is the gun, the big gun. Everything else comes with the kit.
Oh, okay.
So, and then you have the big cannons overhead. All these things move separately. And like I said, the only thing that didn't come with this was the chain gun. I bought that separately.
Dang.
But in the show, like I said, it's you buy a model kit and you customize it to fight in battle. Hers was based on the GM Powered, which is like a GM with heavier joints. That's why it's so beefy.
Mhm.
But it was also just combined with like parts from the Gundam Alex, which is why it has the machine guns in the forearms. And also combined with parts from some of the Gundams from Thunderbolt, which all the Gundams in Thunderbolt have subarms that hold shields and guns and things, which is where you see those parts come from.
Cool.
So, very neat kit. I think the GM Cardigan is probably my favorite kit from the Tri series, just because it's so cool. It's so utilitarian. And even though it's so outlandish and so heavily armed, I see it and I feel like this could fit into a regular Gundam show. Like it's not too outlandish.
No. I think this could be like something definitely ground warfare.
Right.
Definitely, like I said, a lineman. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Usually the biggest, beefiest guy is holding the chain gun.
Right. He's basically the heavy weapons guy.
Yeah, because he can handle the weight,
Right.
Imagine the ammo that goes along with that.
And you can see, too, I put the arms down, but he's able to hold that gun just fine.
Yeah, it's not off balance.
Yeah, he's able to hold it just A-okay. The only thing I did is I think I glued this hand into it just because he had some trouble gripping the handle. But otherwise,
Man, fascinating.
A-okay.
kid.
Yeah, but if we ever see any of these GM cardigans show up on the our supplier site, we definitely got to get some because I think they're a super cool kit.
100%. Totally cool, bro.
Right.
Well, those are two kits, guys, that we have. I'm going to switch over to the camera. Those are 2 kits that we had. Well, we've had the Faz. We'll probably order another one on the next run. We've never had one of those kits, but definitely if it comes available, we'll.
If I see them, I'll definitely tell you to grab some.
If Ben sees one, we'll definitely pick it up. So I wanted to definitely. Most of the time, Ben is talking about what he's got and what he's worked with in the past. Right. So I figured I would take a moment just to kind of. A lot of people, Ben's been doing this for quite a while, and I jumped into Gundam just really out of happenstance. I remember Will was mentioning it. And he mentioned, I forget what he mentioned specifically, and then I'm like, oh, those are kind of cool. And so I started looking for kits and understanding, where I could get stuff or how to kind of dive into it, because it can be overwhelming.
Right.
You don't know, well, you don't want to get this or you want to get that. And a lot of times, guys, with everything in life, it's like you just literally just got to try somewhere.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what I literally did, guys, was when I first started, I was like, all right, well, where do we all head? Amazon, and some of you will hate me, probably hate, make a comment, oh, shouldn't use those. So what I did was I literally went on Amazon. They had this kit. I mean, I've added some things over the months,
right.
And they sold, I think, for like $8 or $9.
I've seen them,
and it was actually, it came with a very basic. Very, very, very basic pair of nippers. Mm-hmm. Nothing super crazy. I mean, they get the job done. I mean, right. Yeah, sometimes the nubs are there and all that kind of stuff. But, like I said, it gets the job done. I've thrown in a lot of Q-tips. You'll see like random Q-tips throughout throughout my kit as well. I use it. Ben probably might even have some too. There you go. We have Q-tips. The reason why we add I added Q-tips was because of the mere fact of talking to Ben, talking to other builders. I use it during panel lining, mm-hmm. because it's easier to get off. You can also use those kneaded erasers,
right,
to get it off. Or I've seen people. You can even really use your finger. And
you could use your finger. You could use a piece of cloth.
Yeah, it'll come off. I find that the Q-tips work pretty well, so that was able to get off pretty smoothly. And then also in the kit. Now this is obviously like a really, really, really cheaply made sanding stick, I guess.
Right.
I mean, there's really nothing left to this anymore as long as I've used it. Mm-hmm. So once again, it came with one of these that I had used for a while, but Ben had given me a couple others as well. And then obviously there's things that are of higher grit. I mean, that'll destroy. That's really, really, really.
Oh yeah, that'll
really
eat
coarse.
Through a kit.
That'll eat through a kit as well. And then, I have random pieces of sandpaper throughout. And then later, actually, these probably have to be my most resourceful tools, which is the tweezers. Mm-hmm. And these obviously come in extremely handy when you are dealing with applying stickers.
Right, which I imagine you got a lot of use of on some of those real goods.
Oh yeah, no, it was a nightmare. Some of those real goods, literally. That's what I'm telling Sean about his crossbones. I know how many stickers are on that, or even my master grade, the RX. Was it the 2.0 that I have? Is that 2.0 in the box?
That's the one. That's the origin.
My bad. Origin. So yes, definitely useful. I forgot one of the pieces, and of course in here I have a little X-Acto knife. I have some Gundam markers. In my other kit, I have black and gray because sometimes you want things to be a little more drastic, sometimes more subtle depending on the type of kit. I go I like more drastic. Right. That's why I used black when I did the RX-78.
I tend to prefer that as well.
It's just more in your face. Mm-hmm. But the gray works really well also for even the darker, the gray, the darker color on the suits, just because it's easier to use.
I've seen a lot of people use brown on the yellow portions as mm-hmm. well, just to kind of highlight it.
And simple additions such as panel lining or adding the stickers will make all the difference, or adding a top coat. Right. Will make all the difference in the world as well. And actually, here we go. So one of your
these are some
standing sticks.
These are some little standing sticks that I got at a Hobby Lobby. They're just rounded little files that you can use to clean up certain detail areas. One side is tapered, the other side's obviously pointed. This is just good for getting at some smaller areas, mm-hmm. especially if you need to round something out, like say parts of the cannon barrel, things like that, where you want to sand down some of these arms. You can see on some of these arms, I'm not sure if the camera will be able to pick it up. Yeah, but you can see where there was areas of flash where the mold.
Yeah, I can see that you sanded it down.
Yeah, I sanded it down with the idea.
Yes, I can see right there.
Yeah, with the idea being that eventually I would come back and paint this, and I still will paint this one day. But various flaws can be sanded down with something like this, just to when you finally paint the kit, or even when you top coat it, just to make it look that much cleaner, that little bit better.
Still, something so simple, guys, and Ben had these so gracious to share with me.
Right.
Something so simple that can make all the difference in the world. Now,
yeah, you can get like a pack of those. I think of 10 at Hobby Lobby for like $8 or $5.
oh yeah, super affordable. Now that was something. Now I did take it to the next level, and the next level one was that for my Christmas, I think this last December, I had asked my parents for a Dremel because the Dremel obviously allows you to get a little more intricate, but
It's the same one I have.
yeah, which is it's a beast. I mean, I've used it on quite a different sets. But the cool thing with the Dremel, and this is what I recommend, is that with the Dremel, obviously, this one, which is the 4000 series, will allow you to have the setting function for the speed.
Right, so you can set it really low.
You set it really low, and I also found that the way that the tip is designed, you could actually use it as a pen, and I call it like the pen function because it's more like pretty stable.
To kind of scribe it, yeah.
Exactly. Now it does get hot, obviously, because the motor is sitting right here.
Right.
It does get quite warm. I was using it on a project, so it's like all messed up. But one other thing I recommend that I got was I actually went and found this. I believe I found this at Harbor Freight, where I just got
kit.
Yeah, I just got a rotary accessory kit. And the rotary is obviously there's a rotary tool. Does rotary refer to the type of motor that's in it?
It's just the kind of tool it is, because rotary means spinning.
Okay.
And then you have like reciprocating ones, which is like for breaking the tile.
Ah, okay.
Like the oscillating tools.
Okay. So rotary accessory kits, what you want to find. I think this was at Harbor Freight. There's 276 pieces in it. Kind of gives you a little example of like, oh, this is for a rotary toolkit. And once again, when you pop this bad boy open, once again, be very careful with all the pieces flying everywhere. But you have all types of things from when you're dealing with
little sanders, drills.
glass, metal. The one thing that I wish that it had that it doesn't have is a saw.
Ah, I see what you mean.
You see what I'm saying?
Like a back and forth.
Yeah, like no, like a blade, like a cutting saw, like a wooden for.
Well, that's what these are.
For wood. I tried these on wood, and they like began to smoke.
Well, they'll just burn it. Yeah.
Yeah, they just burned it.
I've seen people there. You can actually get like an attachment for these to actually turn it into like a little table saw.
Really?
But it still uses these kind of wheels. You just have to have it set to I think a lower speed and go slow, because the thing with, unlike a saw, this is going super super fast, and it will just burn wood.
Yeah, you can kind of see on this one.
Yeah, you can see a little bit of the scorch mark
On the side from where I was actually burning, like through the wood itself. But nonetheless, it was still a really successful tool. I've used it quite a bit in my own walk, and I recommend it definitely. The cool thing is, let me see if I can find it.
If you do cosplay at all too, one of these will definitely be a thing you want to pick up eventually. If you're going to work with any kind of EVA foam, these will make short work of cleaning up EVA foam, which is like the stuff that people make.
Yeah, the white foam stuff.
Even my Gundam costumes, I used one just last week to cut the fiberglass on my Gundam torso. And like you say, it burns wood. It'll burn fiberglass too, but it goes through it like nothing.
Now, what I found, if you want to look over at camera 2 and so they can see what I was talking about.
These are the routing bits.
Yes. So you'll see like a little tiny ball point circle at the tip. And this kit, this one has saved me quite a bit, because this was perfect for creating those like blast marks.
Yeah, for like doing like bullet impacts.
Exactly. It was really helpful. And then of course this kit comes with all types of various types of attachments and rubber things, and I don't even know what half of it does, but nonetheless,
right.
It's really useful. So I've used quite a bit. I've used this quite a bit on some of my kits, and I just got also in addition, like I got a little like a storage unit from Hobby Lobby. Or not Hobby Lobby, Harbor Freight.
Just for keeping all your
all the random stuff that I was using, or I broke, like if I broke a blade or something of that nature.
You do tend to go through the mandrels on these pretty quickly.
Yeah, but once again, I would say on the scale, like they do sell smaller ones of these.
They sell battery operated.
The 4000, this is one you have?
I believe that's the same one I have.
This one I would say like definitely, you want to kind of, if you're going to buy it, I recommend starting at the 4000 level, or something even better if there's one that exists. Right. Just because you're going to, that motor is going to have so much use and so much wear.
Yeah.
So you might as well spend a little bit of the extra money and be able to, make the best of it.
I don't recommend the battery powered ones.
No.
For a long time I had a Dremel, the low end one that was battery powered.
No.
And it was just, you get about 15 minutes of use and you had to recharge the battery. It was awful.
It's kind of like a Ryobi.
Yeah, not so good.
Yeah, I mean, it's great starter stuff, but, hey, we all have to start somewhere, and as you get more into it, I mean, I use that for a lot of other projects with woodworking and things like that. It just takes
Right.
a little while. So I wanted to bust out. We have actually a kit that Ben's been referencing here for a little while. I finally brought it over.
Oh,
So
this kid's
this
a big
one,
boy in its frame.
so
That's a big boy.
So this kit is
Bigger
well,
than my
Ben. Why don't
head.
you tell them about it? Why don't you tell them about it so they can appreciate it? Because you'll explain it better than I
Right.
would.
This is the one I've been bugging Ed that he needs to get started on for the longest time. This is the Mega Size RX-78 Gundam. There's, like I say in other videos, there's different grades. There's high grade, master grade, perfect grade, and then there is the Mega Size. This is pretty much the biggest kit that Bandai makes that you can build. There are some that are bigger, but none that are like traditional
Right.
plastic runner type models. It's bigger than a perfect grade, but it's about, in terms of complexity, on about the same level as a high grade, just bigger parts. So very simple build, but huge canvas to work on.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there's going to be a lot that you can do with this guy. It's going to be very cool to see it when you finally start. But let's show you some of the pictures.
Yeah,
on
of
the
course,
side.
yeah. Because what we're gonna do, guys, is Ben and I were talking about it. What we'll do is for the next little while,
I don't have to even move the camera. This one, this box is so big, I can get it close enough.
well, for a next stream, we're gonna be cracking it open, getting it started, and but we wanted to show it to you. Now, the mega size, like Ben was saying, this kit is rather large. I would say, I mean, you're talking, what does it say, 375 millimeters?
You're talking about this tall when it's built.
Yeah, so it's a fairly large kit. But honestly, if we open it up, it's really no more complex. Yeah, there we go. Perfect examples. Here, you can show the people it. So it's really no more complex.
Right. You see, just like the other kits, all the high-grade kits, these are molded in the correct color, so no paint or anything required. And you can see, though, even though the detail and the size is so high, that the parts are large, so there's not...
You want to go to camera 2?
Yeah. You can see that
There you go. Perfect.
even though the parts are large, the complexity of them is not especially high. It's basically just an oversized high grade. So you got the shield there.
Right.
But because of the giant size, the detail is really nice. Like you can see all the etching and panels on the shield there. And just like the high grades, the color separation is really nice. So you see like you got the black section here for around the eyes of the Gundam. All the yellow portions for the armor. Little V for the crotch there and the neck plate.
Yeah, the orange definitely pops.
Right. And like I said, it's not like a perfect grade where it's like all these armors would be individually segmented and things like that. You're not going to have armor parts that move as you move the kit. But if you're going to talk about a suit that's really, model kit that's really great to practice on and try new techniques on, these are great just because the size is so big. You have so much of a canvas to work with. And the thing that these mega sizes use is the gates where the plastic connects to the parts.
Yeah, you're talking about that.
Are super, super thin. They actually give you, I'm trying to find it, a small tool to punch out the parts with. There it is. You get these little sprue tools, and you can use these just to pop the parts right off the runner. They fit in the perfect position to pop them off. Actually, you mind if I...
No, yeah, go for it. Pop it open.
Yeah, just as an example.
Yeah, of course. We want to show the people what it is. We're going to start on it anyways next week, so.
Right. All right, so there's the little tool, and this one actually comes with two. So you just pop out the tool.
I like how that just pops out.
But now, let's say you wanted to remove some of these parts. Go like so.
What?
And it just pops them right out. And you can see how small the gate is comparatively on these.
You can't even really see where it was.
white
I mean,
mark,
you can code because it's a little white, you
it's
know.
there, but it's much smaller than a normal kit because they made that entry point on the gate so much smaller than a normal kit.
Man.
You couldn't really pop parts off like that on any other kit. Pretty much only the mega sizes have that super tiny gate.
Man.
If you want to go ahead and try one.
Yeah, yeah. So how does this
You
work?
just put it in there like you would a pair of pliers,
okay.
like so, and you just pop it off.
So you put it in like this again, press against it.
Yeah, you'll push it against
Do you have to like put it in a certain position, or does it matter?
Well, you have to put it to where the forks of it are pushing against the part. Here.
Oh, okay, okay. I see. Like. No, I'm not seeing this. You show me.
Like right here.
Yes, I
They
see
give you
it.
that little piece to punch onto.
Okay,
See?
so like here, and then like
Watch.
push up.
See that little bar?
Right.
You got it there?
Yeah.
Push.
Okay, perfect.
And now you just grab the part and twist it off.
Oh,
There you go.
yeah, and like you said, the gate is like, you can't even
It's
see
super,
that.
super small.
You can't even see that piece.
Yeah, like you see how tiny that gate is?
Dang.
And you can do the same thing with the other parts here. I don't want to do too much because we're going to build this next week. But that's how easy it is to break these off.
So that's really fascinating, guys, that you're able to have this tool that they created right here.
Inside the model kit.
Inside the model kit.
There are a few other kits other than the mega size that I think use these. But
Yes, I've seen someone have one.
Yeah, but all the mega sizes have these, and so they're really good. So if you were looking to getting a kit and you'd never built one before, and you just wanted something that was big and be impressive on your shelf, but you didn't even want to buy any tools, mega size is a good pick.
No, 100%. You know, and also I don't remember exactly how much I paid for this one, but it wasn't anything super, super crazy.
They are not terribly expensive. You would think because of the size they would be just massively expensive, especially when you think of the perfect grades, because the perfect grades are smaller kits than these, but the perfect grades range anywhere from like $150 to $200, $300 depending on the design. But this guy, I think you paid about $100.
Yeah, it was like something around there.
You paid about $100 for this kit, and it's even bigger than a perfect grade. So it's just
And you have
huge.
the LED. You can do the LED insert in the face.
This one, it has the option of putting the LED in it, but I don't think it comes with it. I think you have to buy.
Yeah,
the
I think
LED.
you had to buy it.
You have to buy the LED separate. But the LEDs, you can get those from just about any Gundam website, even Amazon, for like a couple dollars a piece.
Yeah.
And a little note too, like the ones that Bandai sells, the LED kits, they're terrible. Buy the Chinese ones; they're better than the Bandai ones. I don't know why they dropped the ball so hard on their LED kits, but they did. But just once again, for an example, on the side there, you can see an image of a high grade next to the mega size.
Here, we'll do camera 2 so they can see. I don't know if you can show it on camera 2, like this ever so slightly, so they can see down.
Right.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, you can see.
He's referring to like that one over here. Like, yeah, there.
You can see the high grade barely comes up to the knees of this thing. That's how big this suit is.
A rather large kit for everybody out there. So if you're looking for something a little bit bigger, something a little bit more surface area to play around with, we'll be working on this over the next couple of weeks, especially as Ben completes his move.
Right.
And then we're going to, I would say definitely let's try to make this more like Flynn-centric, even paint it.
Yeah, we were talking about putting like Flynn's custom decals on it. Maybe do it in
or purple, or
in the color scheme of the arcade.
Changing the colors.
But that would be a good excuse too for us to show you some of the painting equipment I have once I can get finished with my move and bring that in. But yeah.
So cool. Awesome, guys. Well, it's been about an hour. Time surely does fly as we're having fun talking about Gundam. We've talked about a lot today, talked about some beginner kits, some larger kits. Ben gave us some of his insight on, weapon modification, some of the larger kits with part numbers or piece numbers, so you guys can make use of all that information. And this, in final closing, we thank you so much for hanging out to the end. Ben, myself, and Will have been talking about creating a Gundam club here at Flynn's. Right. So we are working on all the details, the finite details, but what we do know is that we will first, being a part of the Gundam club, will allow you to a discount on the kits that we have here at Flynn's.
Right. You'll get like a flat discount on all the model kits we sell.
Exactly. We sell here at Flynn's. And then also we'll be doing what was it? The distribution, right?
We will give you guys first access to our exclusive Japanese distributor.
Yep.
Every month we put in orders to this guy. And the idea is if you're a member of the club, we'll give you early access to what's available and you guys can get first crack at it. And for any Gunpla nuts that are on there, you know that some of the stuff that comes out, it goes fast. Some stuff is rare, it gets limited re-releases, but you'll get a chance to get your first crack at it and get it straight from the source.
So that's those are two things we definitely know that we're going to be adding to that Gunpla Club. Plus other things like a really cool t-shirt, we're going for vinyl stickers, we're going for maybe even a cool tools kit, all that kind of stuff. We have Sean are both in. So we're going to have those, a monthly club. We haven't locked down all the specifics yet, but we're hoping to do that.
We're talking about it.
And the next, exactly. Talking about it every Thursday, understanding. We want to roll everything out wholeheartedly and not half-heartedly. So we just want to kind of wet your whistle there, give you a little taste.
We want to make sure that whatever you guys pay for, you're definitely getting your money's worth.
Exactly. We don't just want to take people's money to take it. We want to make sure that you're getting the most of it. So in closing, Ben, where can they find you if they want to talk to you a little bit more about stuff?
Right. If you want to talk to me about cosplay, model kits, anything, you can find me on social media. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, pretty much everything as Uberscosplay. That's UBERS cosplay. And if you just want to come out, hang out, and build, I'm usually at Flynn's every Thursday night working on some kind of model kit. I got tons of tools. I bring extras to help out. If anyone doesn't have any tools and you just want to, buy something here and work on something, feel free to come out. And don't even be afraid to come by if you're not even working on model kits. If you're working on cosplay, Warhammer miniatures, dolls, painting, pretty much anything, come on out, see the crew, and
Exactly.
see what we got to offer.
Chill.
Pick our brains.
Yeah, we usually hang out from we start about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and some of us hang out till about midnight or so. So
Right.
you're always more than welcome. That's totally free to attend. We have kits here that purchase. We're about to make our next order. Maybe we'll do it before, or after we announce the Gundam Club, so that everyone has a chance to order alongside of us for that run.
I might have to throw in a few things for myself.
It's tempting. But
It's very tempting.
we appreciate your guys' time today on Let's Talk Gundam with Uberscosplay here at Flynn's Arcade. We open tomorrow at 5 o'clock for our $10 Tuesdays in honor of Grand Prix Racerama that no longer exists. Everything's set to unlimited play, and you can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, all those good things. We really appreciate your guys' time, and we can't wait to see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will catch you later, guys. Keep building, have some fun, and we will catch you on the flip side.
Take care, guys.
Bye.